Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video I'm going to be utilizing Yasser'S latest Ultra League team, which consists of Shadow Dragonite, Tapu Fini, and Golisopod. This was a really fun team. I got 4 positive sets, went 15-10. Overall, I'm going to walk through 2 sets here. Again, if you want to check out the original video, link below. You want to check out all my battles, are on twitch.tv/kingiv. So let's go ahead and get started with this match here. We're going to see Dragonite into Alolan Sandslash, which is an absolutely terrible lead. I'm going to switch into Tapu Fini, and going to be met by Giratina. Obviously, this is a pretty terrible situation here. I'm going to let this go. They do throw the Shadow Ball. I can win the one shield if I decide to bait, but I decided to go for the Moonblast. And let's see how this is going to turn out. And they end up shielding, which is disastrous for me. I try to get as close as I can to the Moonblast, and I throw the Surf. Let's see if they decide to shield a second time. They do not. Maybe I could have made it there, though, to be honest. It would have been really close. And I'm going to come into Dragonite. I'm going to no-shield this. I'd survive a Shadow Ball anyways. And if they bait and boost, then I wouldn't survive the Shadow Ball afterwards. So they decide to throw again. This is likely another ominous win, but I can't risk it. And they come into Tapu Fini here. And I'm going to farm up a little bit here and then throw the superpower and then switch into Golisopod, hoping that they just throw the Surf after I throw the superpower, but they do not. And I will shield. And do I throw Exeter here or throw Liquidation? Okay, they make it to another move here. I think they throw the Surf here. So there's actually a slight misplay by my opponent, because I am going to be able to Shadow Claw them all the way down. And they come into Giratina. I throw the Liquidation at this Giratina. I actually get the defense drop. Put them really low. They decide to switch out into Alolan Sandslash, and this is looking pretty good for me. I get the move, and I throw. I think I survived this just barely, and I get the Liquidation. Oh man, IVs right there, and I get the Liquidation, which would be enough to take out the Alolan Sands. Actually, they survived 1 HP, but I Dragon Breath down, and then I should be able to Dragon Breath down this Giratina. So that worked out pretty nicely for me after an absolutely terrible lead. I was able to win the game there. The team was like pretty weak to didn't have a great answer to Tapu Fini. All right, Mew. Okay, complicated lead here because I don't know what moveset they're running. They are running Shadow Claw, and let's see what they decide to throw here. This is either a Dragon Claw or Psyshock or a Wild Charge. It ends up being Wild Charge, and they switch out into Drapion. I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw, and then look to switch out into Golisopod after I do a few Dragon Breaths. And the Crunch. I'm going to throw the Exeter. It is more energy efficient, right, than Scald. They end up shielding. That's okay. I'll survive this next one. Plus, if they debuff me, then the third one would KO me anyway. So, get to the X-Scissor. And I'm in a pretty decent situation here. That's what they decide to do. And they come into Tentacruel. Well, thank goodness they came to Tentacruel here, because obviously this would have been pretty disastrous if I didn't have it, if I had a line on Tapu Fini. And I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw at this Tentacruel. I will have to shield. And they do throw the Scald. Thankfully, no attack drop. I'm going to farm up a little bit here. And then they switch out into Mew. And this is going to be an extremely close endgame. Maybe I should have thrown the Surf here and taken it out, because I do have a move banked. But I was a little bit worried here. And I let them take me out. Then I'm going to farm down. I'm going to farm it all the way down. Then I'm going to do 1 Dragon Breath, then throw. But I still have to survive another Poison Jab here. And actually, at this point, at the time, I actually conceded. I actually thought I was going to lose the game. But my Dragonite survived with 1 HP and wins a very exciting game. Ends up clutching it out and winning there. So worked out pretty nicely for me. All right, which was pretty crazy end game there. All right. We're going to go into this next match. Dragonite here. Typically, I like to catch on Tapu Fini, but they usually have the same idea, right? So, because you can see these Dragon Breaths are absolutely chunking away. I switch out into Jellicent, but this is okay. I throw the Moonblast at the Jellicent. Because of Simul Swap, that's going to be good timing for me, and they haven't thrown yet. And I think I let this go. They do throw the Shadow Ball at me. This is a lot of health to deal with. I debate shielding here or not shielding. I end up shielding. I throw the Moonblast. And I think I let this go. Let's go. They're going to throw the Surf at me. I'm going to go to Golisopod. I will end up shielding this move. And let's see. They come into Dragonite. I'm going to farm down. They should be not dry here, but pretty close to dry. I'm going to farm them down. Put me pretty low here. And we'll see what comes in. The Jellicent's still alive. And they come into Cobalion here. And unfortunately, this is not going to be a good situation for me. I do get the defense drop, and I tried to CMP tie there, but I wasn't able to. But then I make a fancy play here. I do the one Shadow Claw, and then I CMP tie with the Dragonite. But this is not going to be enough. They're one off this second one. It's a fancy play, but it really doesn't matter here because I don't have a move. I really had to hope that they switch out into their Jellicent and let me farm down the Jellicent. But even then, maybe I could have made there. But nicely played by the opponent. Yeah, very nicely played by them. All right, Dragonite into Registeel. This is actually where you want to see it. It's a complicated matchup. And I'm going to throw on CMP with the Zap Cannon. And they no shield. I shield here. I don't know if this is the correct play to be honest, but it would have done a lot of damage. Probably would have KO'd, to be honest, since I was debuffed. And I throw the superpower again. And I will shield this, preserving this Dragonite. In case I need it. I'm going to farm up a little bit. They should be in Dragon Claw range. So I will throw the Dragon Claw at this Registeel. Now I'm going to immediately swap into Golisopod. And I'm going to be met by Tapu Fini. And I will throw the X's. I did overfarm a little bit there in case they tried to catch. Again, with the X-Scissor buff, this makes the Tapu Fini matchup much more comfortable than it was previously. I guess they would have relied on debuffs. Or I'm going to farm up a little bit here and then throw back-to-back X-Scissors at this Tapu Fini. And I get the X-Scissor off. I really want to switch there, but that's okay. And they come into Drifblim. Okay, this was kind of a weird game here, to be honest. I tried to catch the Icy Wind. But maybe they didn't have Icy Wind. I don't know. My Dragonite's also pretty low. It might faint to Mythical Fire. It certainly would faint to Shadow Ball. So the opponent decides to leave here. I'm not quite sure why, to be honest. Not quite sure. They almost certainly would have won there. Again, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Would they have won there? I think so. But we're gonna have Dragonite into Toxicroak. This is all three of my Pokemon can handle Toxicroak pretty decently, and they come into Snorlax, and they throw the Body Slam. I will shield, then I will farm up. Basically, almost to a CMP tie. And I will throw the Dragon Claw. And I throw another Dragon Claw, hoping to CMP. I guess they would be one lick off. So then I switch right here after this into Tapu Fini. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that they didn't get to 2. They should have got to 2 body slams, or I'm not sure where they were trying to reach here. Maybe they're trying to reach another move here, because they ended up just letting me get to the move here, which is very weird. And they decided to leave the match. So kind of a weird end game there, but or not even mid game. And we're off into the next set here. So against Poliwrath, I tried to catch on Tapu Fini, but maybe it's better to try to catch on Golisopod. So they get the Ice Punch right here. I actually did try to catch on Golisopod. Anyway, so it's actually worked out a little bit better for me, because the Drapion would be pretty problematic for Tapu Fini, depending if it had Sludge Bomb. I throw the X Scissor. I let this go. I throw the Crunch. I will throw the Liquidation, which I think does slightly more damage. Hoping to grab a shield, but I don't. I shield this because it's worth it to have Poliwrath onto Tapu Fini, because the energy goes nowhere then. And I unfortunately get defense dropped, and they come into Poliwrath. And they actually shield here, which is actually kind of an odd play. Not quite sure why they shielded. And they counter me down. I'm going to come into Tapu Fini, and they switch to Jellicent. This is a perfectly playable matchup for me for the Dragonite, since I have quite a bit of energy. Gonna throw the Dragon Claw. I'm gonna do 2 Dragon Breaths and throw another Dragon Claw. They actually throw the move here. Even if they bait me, it's not a big deal. They end up throwing the Shadow Ball, so this works out pretty comfortably for me. I'm gonna throw right before the Dragon Claw. I think they actually let this go, or right before the next move. And I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw, and this is going to be a CMP tie, and this game's going to be over. Okay, that worked pretty nicely for me. I'm just going to go ahead and speed up into the next game. We're going to have Dragonite into Greninja. All 3 of my Pokemon are pretty decent into Greninja, and they come into Nidoqueen here. And I make a huge mistake. All I saw was the ground, and then I should have went Golisopod here, because Golisopod wins this matchup. Not comfortably, because in the 2 shield I think it loses, but I would be able to put it pretty low. Unfortunately, I'm not even going to be able to make it to 2 Surfs here. I really just should have thrown the Dragon Claw, then switched into Golisopod, because anyways, they have a bunch of energy here, and I tried to go for the aggressive farm down, and I'm getting thrown the Poison Jab. They come into Greninja. I think I let this go. Night Slash is not that strong a move. And I'm going to do 1 and throw the X Scissor. But I think they end up having back. Oh, it's Charizard here. Oof. Definitely could have been a more straightforward matchup for me, but that's quite all right. They throw the Dragon Claw. I throw the Dragon Claw. And even the Dragon Claw wouldn't have KO'd the Charizard. It's not really too much I can do here. They throw the Dragon Claw. Throw another Dragon Claw at me. Probably does about 40% to Charizard. Maybe if this is a Shadow Charizard, probably would have been enough, but I probably would have got Wing Attack down. So, misplay on my side. Dealing with the Nidoqueen switch in. Should definitely go Golisopod. And then I don't even actually need to win switch. I could just take both shields with Liquidation. Liquidation does in 1 shot. Does about 50%. So you actually need the X Scissor as well. So how I like to play Jelly is I like to go up to the super power, then throw the Dragon Claw, which is going to be good timing. 1 turn before the move, and then I like to switch to Tapu Fini in case they bait, and then as well. Or actually, I guess I switch to Golisopod here, and they come into Skunk Tank. It's actually pretty decent for me. The X Scissors do neutral damage. They obviously resist the Shadow Claws. But these X Scissors are definitely put in work versus this Skunk Tank. They actually end up shielding. I think I no shield this Golisopod because I'm going to survive whatever move they throw at me. They throw Crunch. And I'm going to be able to make it to another X-Scissor, which should be enough to take out the Skunk Tank. Yes, it is. And they're probably going to come into Jellicent. And they have a lot of energy here. I'm going to let this go. Let's go. They throw the Shadow Ball. They come to Cobalion here, and I make a risky play here. I just throw the Dragon Claw, hoping to grab the shield. And then once I grab the shield, I should be okay. I do grab the shield. And the Moonblast does quite a bit of damage. Plus these water guns. Here, I'm just going to speed this part up. Basically, they throw 2 Stone Edges. I shield both of them. And then I throw the Surf at the Jellicent. Because the Cobalion is too low. Plus the 1 Stone Edge wouldn't KO. Alright. Going against the Punisher. Punisher here at Clefable. Oh, God, this is absolutely disastrous lead here. I actually learned from this one particular match. I guess like Clefable Ice is a pretty common team. Anyways, I throw the Liquidation. I really should have shielded because they definitely don't have clear answer, and they actually just end up coming into a Alolan Sandslash here, and this Alolan Sandslash just eats apart my team. And get the Liquidation here, but they farm me down. I come to Tapu Fini. I should have tried to catch one of the drill runs here, but you'll see what's in the back ends up being a Jellicent. And not really too much I can do there. Try to catch the move. They come to Clefable. I try to make it a superpower, but this Clefable is just too tanky here. I'm going to be able to take me out. And this Jellicent ends up just throwing the Shadow Ball and taking me out. So next, I think later on in the stream, I actually play another Clefable lead, and I end up double shielding, and then I made the game pretty close there. Ends up still losing, but made it pretty close. Okay, so Dragonite into Toxtrot again, pretty decent lead for me. They come into Greninja. They throw the Night Slash. I'm gonna farm up, throw the Dragon Claw, and then I'm gonna look to switch to Tapu Fini. Try to catch there. But that's quite all right. They actually had the Night Slash already, so it was a little bit of a risky play for me there. But they throw the Hydrocan here, and the Hydrocan actually does less than I thought. Plus, these fast moves are resisted. So I feel I'm in a pretty comfortable situation here. And I throw right beforehand. But I try to make it to the Moonblast here. I probably should have just thrown the Surf, but if I throw the Surf there, I don't know. Anyways, they Mud Bomb me. I wait the clock. I think I come back into a Dragonite. And they come into Guzzlord, and I throw the move here. I make a mistake here. Honestly, I should have switched to it right away, because I thought I could make it, put them low enough to potentially Shadow Claw down, but it's definitely not going to happen. And very fortunate for me here that they have Brutal Swing instead of Crunch, because if I would have got debuffed there, then it would have been way worse. I throw the X-Scissor. They actually decide to no-shield this, but this actually works out better for me, just because I'm going to be able to make it to 2 liquidations before they get Bait and Sludge Bomb. So this is going to be a safe shield for me. So there's going to be really no realistic way for the opponent to win, as long as I decide to shield and I go straight liquidation. And with the defense drop, this is definitely going to be more than enough. They throw the Sludge Bomb, which probably would have taken me out, and they end up leaving the match there. So overall, this is a really fun team. You definitely check out Yasser'S original video if you want to learn more on how to play the team. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.